welcome to this jazz guitar lesson. I'm Chris Whiteman, and thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be looking at the Lydian dominant mode. It is the fourth mode of melodic minor, and this mode creates a very specific type of dominant seventh chord. It has the four primary tones of a dominant seventh as the root, the third, the fifth, and the flat seventh, and the extensions of natural 9, sharp 11, and natural 13. So it's all of the same notes as the Mixolydian mode, but it has a raised fourth, right? And we refer to that as the sharp 11 when we're talking about extensions. So just one note difference between Mixolydian and Lydian dominant. Lydian dominant is going to have more color or tension than a straight Mixolydian style dominant chord. And you're probably familiar with the sound of Lydian dominant, even if you're not familiar with the name. So if we look at a tune like Vince Guaraldi's Christmas Time Is Here, that second harmony is Lydian dominant, right? The first chord is F major 7. Now moving down a whole step in my root motion to an E flat, it's a dominant chord, the flat 7, a 9, and a sharp 11, right? So kind of has a dreamy quality. That's the way I think of it. So this is one of the places that Lydian dominant will show up. It's in relation to the tonic, it will show up on the flat 7. Oftentimes, that after you play the flat 7, Lydian dominant, you'll move up a whole step back to the tonic. The other place that the Lydian dominant shows up frequently is on a 2 dominant. So like tunes like Take the A Train. Right, so that was C major for 2 bars, and then the second 2 bars goes to D7 sharp 11 or D9 sharp 11. I just use a blanket term. We'll call it D Lydian dominant. That means it could have a 13, a 9, or a sharp 11. So let's look at this mode. We're going to run a scale pattern for it. We're going to look at some arpeggios, some lines, some chord voicings, and then we're going to apply all of that to Take the A Train. We'll look at the first 8 bars of Take the A Train and use the Lydian dominant for the second harmony in that tune. For the examples today, we're going to be using D Lydian dominant. So let's look at the D Lydian dominant mode in 4th position. So again, if I'm thinking of a D7 as the harmony, I start on D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C, D, and I'll go to the second octave, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C, B, A, G sharp, F sharp, E, D, C, B, A, G sharp, F sharp, E, D, and I'll go all the way to the bottom of this position, C, B, A, G sharp, A, B, C, D, and then I worked my way back up to where I started. So if I run that whole mode again, that might end with a nice voicing for D Lydian dominant. Here I have D, F sharp, C, E, and G sharp. All right, so root, third, flat 7, 9, sharp 11. The numerical analysis against the harmony would be root, 9, third, raised 4th or sharp 11, 5th, 13, flat 7, right? Root, 9, third, sharp 11, 5th, 13, flat 7. And now to pull the arpeggio out of that mode, I want to start on the root and skip every other note. So I'm stacking in thirds. Right, so I have root, third, fifth, flat 7, 9, sharp 11, 13. Those are 7 pitches. There's 7 pitches in this mode. So it's every note of the D Lydian dominant mode stacked in thirds. And I like to go from the bottom to the top and then come back down. Hit that voicing again to really build that relationship between hearing it as a harmonic expression and then a linear expression of that same harmony. Right. I want to share just a shortcut to find the melodic minor scale. Right? Since the mode is a derivative of melodic minor, we're going to refer to melodic minor as the parent scale. And so in my previous videos, we were looking at the altered dominant mode, and the shortcut for that is the melodic minor sits a half step above the root. So this is a good little formula to memorize. If I want to treat a dominant as altered dominant, I go up a half step from the root of that dominant chord and play melodic minor. If I want to treat a dominant chord as Lydian dominant, I go up a fifth from the root and play melodic minor. Okay, D Lydian dominant, go up a fifth to A melodic minor. You can practice your A melodic minor scale, just same notes as D Lydian dominant, just start on A. And then the arpeggio would be built from the A there as well. Okay, so we have a position for the mode here in the 4th position. We have a couple of arpeggios. I'm going to take that second arpeggio, the A minor major 9 arpeggio, which was A, C, E, G sharp, and B, right? Which against the D chord gives you the 5th, the flat 7, the 9, the sharp 11, and the 13. And we're going to build a little line around this. It's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's all 8th notes, starting on the end of beat 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And so that's a line that really captures the sound of Lydian dominant. All right, let's do another line. This one is going to start on the end of beat 1 and begin from the root. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And one more time. 2, 3, 4, 1. All right, so let's look at some voicings now for the Lydian dominant sound. These are all going to be D7 voicings that have some combination of the extensions 9, sharp, 11, and 13, right? So they may not all have all 3 extensions, but they're going to be all in that family of sound. So I'm going to start with a D13 that has a 9 and a sharp 11 in it. All right, so I have the root, D, I have my sharp 11, flat 7, my 9, and my 13, right? That's D, G sharp, C, E, and B. Right. Now I'm going to take this top voice and I'm going to start moving it down the mode. So I'll move from here. Well, I can just take that pinky off, and now I have the 5th in the melody. All the other pitches are the same, right? So now I'm going to move down to the sharp 11 in the top voice, right? And I'm going to play a D9 below that with the 11. So D, F sharp, C, E, and G sharp. Root, third, flat 7, 9, sharp 11. Now I'm going to put the third in the melody. All right, so I have the F sharp as the top voice. I have D in the bass, G sharp, C, and F sharp. Now this one, the only color that it has from Lydian dominant is the sharp 11. Right. If I remove the pinky, I can put the ninth in the top voice. Now the last voicing here is a D9. It doesn't have a 13 or a sharp 11. It doesn't really matter. We've already established the Lydian dominant sound with the previous voicing. So if you're moving through a series of voicings, you don't have to have all of the extensions in there. You just can't have anything that would conflict with the Lydian dominant sound, right? I couldn't put a sharp 5 in there or a flat 9, right? But if I just have a natural 9, it's still compatible, right, with that same family of sound. Now let's do those same voicings, but let's drop the root. I like to see it without the root as well. If I'm playing with the bass player, I don't always want the root in there. So those same voicings without the root looks like this. Hey, it looks like an A minor major 9 chord, right? That's the parent scale of D Lydian dominant. Second chord, that's the second chord from Stairway to Heaven. So there you go. All right. The second voicing, I'm going to go to my just D9. Right. Third voicing, D9 with the sharp 11. Fourth voicing is going to be a D7 with the sharp 11 in the bass. I could drop the F sharp down to E, and now I have a little D9 with the sharp 11, and finally a very simple little D9. So now I'm going to do a little integration between line and some of those voicings. This is going to start on the end of beat 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 3, 4. So I started with my A minor major 9 arpeggio starting on the 7th. So G sharp A, C, E, G sharp, B. And I harmonized that B with my rootless D13 that has a 9 and a sharp 11. I moved down to a D9 voicing, right? Since I already established the Lydian dominant sound, I don't have to have the sharp 11 in every voicing, but I followed up with the next voicing containing the sharp 11 there, right? So here's another idea of some integration between a line and a chord. Right, so what I did here is I'm walking up the Lydian dominant mode, starting on F sharp, culminating in a D9 with a sharp 11, rootless. But I'm grabbing some harmonic supports. So I'm holding the root down of my D Lydian dominant while I run the line. Right? So that D is establishing the root of the harmony we're dealing with. And then I switch from D to G sharp, which is really indicative of the Lydian dominant sound, and continue moving up the mode. Right, so we have, and I culminate with the D9 sharp 11. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take the Lydian dominant material and we're going to apply it to the jazz standard, Take the A Train. I mentioned earlier, we're going to look at the first 8 bars, and the opportunity for this is in bar 3 and bar 4. So I'm going to give you an example that goes through the full 8 bars. Lydian dominant's going to happen on bar 3 and bar 4. And the rest of the material, I'm going to be utilizing stuff that I've done in previous lessons. So there'll be some 2-5-1 lines. There'll actually be a 1-6-2-5 chord line integration. Videos on all that stuff is on my channel. If you just do a search for it, it will come up. So here's the example. A 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so I started that out with a C major 7 voicing and a little half step, syncopated move, switched my voicing up in the register to C major 7 here, and then came back down to C6-9, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and then I moved to my D Lydian dominant, and I walked up the mode holding the root, and then shifted, and then moved into my D9 sharp 11. All right, so that was the expression of the Lydian dominant. And then we have a 2-5-1 in C. I came to D minor 9, but I created syncopation by playing the bass on 1 and the chord on the end of 1. So 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Came into my G13 for my 5 chord, and then altered it into the G7 sharp 5, and then resolved to C6. And then I did a little chord line integration for a 1-6-2-5. Like I mentioned, there's a video on that on my channel. How I finished. Okay, everything we went over today is on a PDF download with standard notation and tablature for my Patreon subscribers. There's a link to that information if you're interested in the description of this video. Hopefully you found this information useful and that this gives you kind of a foundation for what the Lydian dominant mode is, what it sounds like, and at least one application for it. So thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you next time.